gentlemen, boys and girls, and my beautiful donuts and munchkins, we are back for another episode of Eat the Donut. Very special episode today. I'm having on one of my probably first friends ever in San Diego onto the podcast. You might know him as 4 Weeks to the Beach. I hope I don't botch your last name, Aram, but Aram Grigorian. What is going on, dude? Got
It
it?
worked. Yeah.
Nailed it?
Yeah. I mean, you just sounded out.
Dude, I can. It's
Gregorian.
exactly as it sounds or as it looks.
As long as you don't fuck up my first name, because then I would be offended.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we were at your event, when they were doing the karaoke, which Aram, one of the best karaoke performances I've seen in a while.
Don't remember it.
That's very true too. But I think they said Aram or something, or Aram or something. They just botched it pretty bad. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Aram.
Dude, half the speakers that I invited to speak at my conference botched my fucking name. So
Yeah,
like,
dude. That's so funny.
I don't
Because I
care.
remember that. Like, oh, Aram has a great event. I'm like, oh, you don't even know this dude, really?
I mean, everybody knows me, but nobody actually know. Like, even like Jason Brown, who I talk to
Yep.
almost weekly, still says Aram.
Yeah.
Because
Aram.
once you program something into your head, that's what you hear.
Sure.
So like they just don't know anything. And I don't at this point, like it just doesn't matter to me.
Dude, there was a time, this is back when I was coaching in person. We had, excuse me, we had about maybe 10 people sign up 1 month. I want to say 60 to 70% were some form, like a female of Christy, Kristen, Chris. They were all Chris to me. I'm like, you guys are all Chris because I can't remember which Chris is what Chris, but you're all gonna be Chris. So a lot of times when I forget names, I just don't know which one is which. I usually just be like, hey, what up, A? Like, just call him by. I know your first letter is A, so I just don't know how to pronounce it or anything.
That was my football coach freshman year. Could not pronounce my name,
Yeah,
so he finally just if he couldn't pronounce somebody's name or couldn't remember it, he would just put in the first and letter of the first name
yeah,
dash train.
yeah.
So I was A train.
A train. I love that.
Um, and then there was like nine trains on our team. There was a Z train, a B train, an L train. So I was A train. And I mean, this guy had like fucking six brain cells in his head.
Sure.
Great strength coach, great
Yeah.
football coach, but just dumber than a box of shit. But
Hey.
like, whatever. He's not meant to be remembering names. He's meant to get us stronger and faster, and that he
Yeah.
did.
And he did that well. I know that's funny. I feel like that's gonna be me at some point with my brain cells, but we'll let the CTE happen when it happens. It is what it is.
Dude, between
Um,
CTE and the drug use at this point, for me, I'm way ahead of you as far as
sure,
not being
sure.
able to have cognitive function within 6 years.
Hey, it is what it is. It's funny. I was actually talking to my client the other day. The one of them I trained in person. He just turned 41, and he's like, "Man, I'm old." I'm like, "Dude, you're not even halfway through your life." He's like, "Nah, I don't want to make it past like 75." Like, I was like, "Okay." Like that. He's like, "Once I get 75, 80, like that's old enough. I'm good."
Yeah, I'm 41, and life changed a lot for me at 40 because I realized that like I'm basically at about halftime.
Sure.
Because people think like 50 is halftime, but no, the fuck it isn't.
No.
Like you're looking at like 35 to 40 is
I was just gonna
halftime.
say it's probably like mid-ish 30s, to be honest. Mid to a
Yeah, I
little bit
mean,
later 30s.
and then depending on like what quality of life even looks like when you're at that age.
Sure.
No, like I'm lucky enough to see what my parents are like. My parents are both in their late 70s, almost
Hmm.
80, and they have not spent a lifetime taking care of themselves. So now they're
Hmm.
dealing with those repercussions.
Sure.
But mortality is a really good motivator to get your shit together. And I don't think enough people really value how little time they have left.
Hmm.
Like, and most of my clients are 40 plus. Like I work with an older population, not older, but older. Like
Hmm.
I'm not working with 20-year-olds. Because like
Yeah.
at 20, you don't give a fuck. Like you're just
Right.
doing everything for aesthetics. Everything is about aesthetics.
Thousand
And at,
percent.
and at 30, it's like, okay, yeah, aesthetics matter still. But now like I'm at the height of my career. My career. I'm building a relationship and I'm building
Hmm.
a household, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then at 40, like you should be coasting to some degree because you got shit figured out.
Sure.
And that's when you really need to get real with yourself about like, why the fuck am I doing all this stuff in the first place? Why am I eating well? Why am I
Yeah.
moving my body? Why am I sleeping well? Why does any of this matter? And like, if you haven't figured out and like cracked the nutrition code by then, you're gonna be fucking one of these like scrambling people in your 50s and 60s wondering why the fuck it never happened for you.
Sure. Sure. It's so true. I think about, I mean, talk about dumb training when you were in my, because I didn't start training till summer going into college, but
At all? Really?
yeah, I mean, I train like consistently, I'll say.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I would go to the gym once every 3 weeks, maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah, never really trained much in high school.
But you were playing sports.
Yeah, I played sports, very
Okay.
active kid. Yeah, still playing sports. Took honors gym my senior year, like I was a beast. That's what we call the seniors gym. We're like, no, we're just in honors gym. This is the best AP gym. Yeah, I didn't start training till going into the summer. For me, it was literally, hey, I'm sick and tired of being this like known chubby kid, or I want to be, like this stud who gets all these aesthetics. And that's when I started training. And first training program was P90X, which was pretty sick. But yeah, and then once I was in college, dude, I was PRing every week, like trying to PR. Like, is bench press max, deadlift max? How many times can I hit 315 on the squat? It was just ridiculous. But here's the other side of it. It worked. Like, I built a lot of muscle. Like, it was not the smartest training program. I'd never prescribed what I did to my clients, but there is something to be said about training your ass off and then building a lot of muscle. Because I'm at a point now where, yeah, it'd be cool to have more muscle, but I'm also okay with what I got. Like, I'm not saying I'm the biggest person in the world, but I'm pretty satisfied with it.
So that's a really important point to make for a lot of our audiences that just don't understand the basics of fitness and nutrition, where it's like you have to respect your starting point. And if
Yeah.
you're starting this at 40 or 50 years old,
Hmm.
it's not impossible, but it's going to be a lot fucking harder.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot harder because you don't have the reps and you don't have the practice, and you never
Hmm.
took advantage of your physiological peak. Like a man peaks physiologically at about 24 to 27,
Sure.
and a woman peaks physiologically about 29 to 32 from a muscle energy strength perspective.
Sure.
So like if you don't capitalize on that 15-year window from like when
Yeah.
you're a teenager into your 30s, everything is an uphill battle for you after that because you
Yeah.
already have set habits and routines. You
Hmm.
have a much more stressful lifestyle. You have way less time for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I think people just don't understand. And people don't spend a lifetime trying to build muscle. They don't spend a lifetime tracking their food. So they make a lot of statements and claims that actually aren't substantiated by any level of evidence whatsoever. Like I tell people all the time, I got jacked by accident.
Yeah.
Like I started at 15 due to vanity because I was insecure,
Yep.
and I just did it at the right time with the right amount of volume, doing it. I don't want to say all wrong, but a lot of it was wrong.
Hmm.
Getting hurt every other week. But when you got hurt at 17, like you recovered within 3 weeks and you were right back at it. Whereas
Yeah.
like now you get hurt, you're out for fucking, that body part is out of commission for 6 weeks before like you get it like looked at
Yeah.
like you should.
Yeah.
And I think like when people will say it must be easy for you, and I say and I admit, like I tell people, I don't have kids.
Hmm.
My only responsibility is to my clientele base, really.
Yep. Yeah.
I have the schedule that I want. Like today, if I did nothing but this all day long, this would be the busiest I need to be.
Yep.
So like I don't have like, but I used to have the lifestyle that my clients have. I used to sit at a desk and finance for fucking
Yep.
12 hours a day. So I also know what the other side looks like.
Hmm.
That's why for me, when I give people advice, I know where they're coming from. Like, so if you give me bullshit excuses, I'm going to tell you that they're bullshit excuses because I had the same reason to not do stuff, yet I found a way. Like
Hmm.
I had to commute an hour and a half from Cheshire, Connecticut to Stamford, Connecticut for work 5 days a week, and I
Hmm.
still made it to the gym 5 days a week. Why?
Hmm.
Because I got there early so I didn't have to sit in traffic. That's it.
Sure. Yep.
And then I went to work. I brought all my own food
Hmm.
and I went to the gym again after work to beat traffic on the way home. Like none of this shit is impossible.
Yeah.
It just has to get thrown in wherever the fuck it fits.
Yeah.
And I think the problem that people have is like they just live in this constant state of anxiety all the
Yeah.
time. Like they never stop to actually analyze anything. They never stop to self-evaluate or self-reflect. And I'm at a point now in my career where I'm really tired of talking about mindset
Yeah.
because it's like you either want it and it matters to you or it clearly just doesn't. Like that's all
Yep.
like yes, okay, cool. Psychology, physiology, mental health, all of these things are wrapped up in a bubble. But at some point, oh well, it's because you don't love yourself enough. Give me a fucking break. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, I
Yeah.
get, I get that these mindset coaches exist and stuff, and they do serve a purpose to some degree.
Yeah.
But if you're 400 pounds and you're on the way to coronary vascular disease and you're
Hmm.
about to die of type 2 diabetes, when is it going to become
Sure.
important to you to make some time? Or conversely, if you're 135 pounds as a woman and you've tried it all, but the only thing you haven't tried is actually tracking your food legitimately accurately
Sure.
for fucking 6 weeks and also training as hard as you possibly can with weights as opposed to just running all the time,
Yeah.
then you can't tell me you've tried it all.
Yeah.
So like there's just too much bullshit. And I don't, but like I've been doing this for 15 years. I don't trust or believe anybody and what they say.
Sure.
When I sign up with somebody, I need to see 6 weeks of consistency, before I believe a word that comes out of your mouth.
Yep. Yeah. It's so funny that you say that because a lot of times recently, I'll sign on a client and like most people, they want to hit the ground running. And I just want them to be like, all right, I'm going to prove it to you that you're trying to do everything all at once and this is why it doesn't work. So let's go for it. 2 weeks in, they missed half their workouts. They're not tracking their calories. I was like, all right, do we want to do something different now? Do we want to actually get a different result? So we got to do something different. Um, no, there's a lot of great points you made there. I laughed about when you were talking on being 17, getting hurt, and you're just fine the next day. It's literally like being hungover now. It's when you're hungover when you're 20, you wake up the next day, you're good to go. You can hit another PR. Today I need like a 2 week vacation. I'm like, holy shit, how's this has changed in my life, how much this just beats me up. But yeah, it's and another thing you mentioned is, as you get older, yes, it gets harder. Just like if you have something hormonal going on, if you have something that just a bit bad hand dealt, that's just the case. Like the rules don't change. It is what it is. Like, yeah, it sucks. Like I can't fucking read. I'm dyslexic as fuck. So reading a book's really hard for me. Doesn't mean I don't read books. I just gotta find a way to figure it out how it works for me, right? I was
It's either that or you don't read.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I listen to fucking podcasts all the time. But yeah, it's just one of those things that it's like this sucks. It's funny. Darcy posted a video. This might have been a couple weeks ago to a month ago, but it was this individual talking about, yeah, this is your hand dealt, but this is your hand dealt. Now play it. Like play it as it is. Who gives a shit? Like it's tough. Yeah, you got a bad hand. Like you can either whine about it for the next 40 years and never do anything about it and then live, a tough life, a miserable life, or we can try to figure something that fucking works here so we can actually change your life and make progress here.
And none of the stuff that I think any reasonable coaches on in the fitness and nutrition space are asking their clients to do is unreasonable.
Right.
Like sure, like if you're some inexperienced 22-year-old
Yeah.
bodybuilder who's like giving people fucking chicken and rice meal plans all day
Yeah.
long and having them do 6 hours of cardio a day, yeah, okay, like know your audience. Like your 45-year-old mother of three isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, like when I'm saying train 2 to 3 times a week, get a minimum of 7,000 steps in,
Yeah.
eat 90% of your own home cooked food and eat out a little bit less than you do now.
Sure.
Try to get a decent amount of sleep by having a bedtime that's routine.
Yeah.
Like if that's asking for a lot, where are we going wrong as a society?
Sure.
But the problem is now like we have so much convenience. Everybody wants everything in fucking 3.5 seconds delivered to their doorstep.
Yep.
And nobody has like even like perfect example. So I went and got my Rocky Road cold brew, which cold brew with cold foam, like cold foam, the way they make cold foam was they put cream and they put flavored syrups into it and they whip it and they whip it until it becomes a foam. And that's what they
Yeah.
use to. So I know how it's made.
Sure.
And I've watched them make it. So I know the ingredients they put in. So I kind of know. I don't know precisely what the macros are
Sure.
because each time they make a batch of it, it changes.
Hmm.
And this is another thing, like fucking Pablo at your local restaurant isn't weighing out your chicken breast for
Yeah.
you. And he isn't weighing out the oil that he's pouring into the
Sure.
pan when he's cooking that chicken breast. So you could be making all the right decisions in your head,
Yep.
but you still have no control over that restaurant meal, just like I don't have control over this coffee.
Hmm.
So she knows that I'm a nutrition coach, the barista did, and she's talking to me. She's like, well, what about the sugar? Right? Because everybody's always trying to blame
Sure.
some fucking
Yep.
evil thing, whether it's
Yep.
cortisol or sugar or seed oils or aspartame. Like there's always going to be an enemy of the year of the week.
Yep.
And I asked her, I said, what about sugar? She's like, well, aren't you worried that you're eating too much sugar? I said, why would I worry about sugar? I could eat 400 grams of carbs a day and it wouldn't matter. But yeah, but
Yeah.
sugar and carbs are different. No, they're not.
No, no, not same thing.
No, they're not. Sugar is a carb, right?
Yep. Yep.
This is where the fundamental lack of understanding of the basics of nutrition are just missing to every average person.
Yeah.
Now, if they follow accounts like yours or mine or Ryan's or anybody else that we know has a
Mhm.
fucking brain in their head,
Yeah.
maybe they'll learn the basics, hopefully.
Yeah.
But they're still going to be susceptible to listening to like the fucking idiots that are running through the grocery store that are
Yeah.
ripping their shirts off and saying this is what you're supposed to look like. Like
Yeah.
that's the stuff that gets more attention because your 15,000 followers and my 45,000 followers
Yeah.
that's taken us 8 years to get to that level of audience.
Legit.
Like they've been listening to the same message day after day after day after day, and it's never changed
Yeah.
because we're not trying to sell people bullshit. We're telling
Yeah.
you like this is going to be challenging because it just takes time, effort, and work. And at some point, you're going to figure it out because it's going to
Hmm.
become a part of your lifestyle. But until
Yeah.
it does, you're going to keep looking for the boogeyman that actually doesn't really exist.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And it's funny where those people who are marketing the exciting thing to talk, the carbs, the fats, the seed oils, the red dyes, all that shit. Like our message has been the same for, I mean, you've been doing this for I don't even know how long, but even before that, the message has always been the same. It's just like it's like Mexican food. It's all the same shit. You just kind of mix it up differently. These influencers, we'll call them. What's gonna be? They're gonna be selling something new by next week, and then a month later something new, and then a year. It's always something new for them, but our shit is always the same. And when it comes to like you're talking about convenience, unfortunately, there's areas in our life that just aren't going to happen overnight where change happens. For the most part, your health, that shit takes time. Growing a career, that shit takes time. Growing a relationship, that shit takes time. These big areas of our life just fucking take time. It is what it is. So let's just start and play the long game with it. Like, you're not going to lose all your fat overnight, just like you did. It took you decades to gain it. It took you decades to build these habits, so they're not going to change overnight. And I also, what one thing that irritates me as well is these influencers talk about takes 21 days to change a habit or to implement a habit. I'm like, that's just not how it works. It's not how it works. And I always share, I think I shared this recently on one of my solo podcasts, but Steph Curry, one of the greatest basketball shooters of all time, has a quote, which I always watch, but something along the lines of is, it's not how many reps you take till you get it right. It's how many reps it takes till you can't get it wrong. And that's a fucking lot of reps. Like, think of that, dude. The amount of shots he takes every single day for decade over decade. Like, and he's obviously the reason why he's one of the greatest shooters of all time. But it's just one of those things. This shit takes time.
So let's see. I've been lifting weights since I was 15. I'm 41, so 26 years.
Hmm.
I would say that I gained a good amount of confidence, like a lot, like to the point where like I can stand in front of if Trump gave me a microphone tomorrow and said, "Come on national television and talk to people about what you're passionate and what you know about," I would be able to address the entire nation about training and nutrition now.
Yeah.
Now, like, and training more so than
Yeah.
nutrition because training I've been doing for longer and I have a deeper understanding of the physiology of muscle and muscle anatomy and
Yeah.
biomechanics and all that stuff. Like, I'm just very, I can confidently say I'm good at it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm better at it than like 99% of the
For
people,
sure.
even in our industry, because
Yeah. Agreed.
I can
Absolutely agreed.
simplify it down to the point where like you're like, oh, cool, I get that. Like if I turn my elbow inward, I'm gonna get more lat. Okay.
Hmm.
Like that, I don't need to make it deeper and more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So I can, but it took me so much trial and error personally to figure out my own training. And then I had to dive into the text of what training is supposed to look like. But even after all the reading, after all the experience, the seminars, the conferences, the paid one-on-one Zoom sessions that I had to pay individual practitioners to
Hmm.
spend time with to learn from people that had more experience than even I did, it all comes back down to the basics.
Yep.
Push, pull, hinge, squat, lunge. That's it. Rotate if you really want to. Like I don't
Yeah.
rotate because I'm not an athlete, but I'm
Yeah.
starting to rotate more because I want to be more athletic.
Yeah.
And with nutrition, the number one thing that everybody needs to understand before they say a fucking other word that comes out of their mouth about anything is do you even understand what your individual calorie budget is?
Sure.
If you don't know what level of calories you maintain your current weight at, you have no other information to work off of, period.
Yep.
I don't care what you think and you know about sugar or seed oils or carbs or proteins or fats. If you don't know what your calorie budget is to maintain your current weight at, you don't have any clue where to go, nor do I have any clue where you need to go. So until that is established, you need to stop thinking about anything else. And then once you have that established and you understand, okay, cool, I weigh 185 pounds, I'm fat and I don't like it, right? Let's say let's take your typical 45-year-old female, because this is not uncommon. Like, this is stuff
Mhm.
I see every
Yeah.
day. I think the average American female is 35% body fat and about 170 pounds.
Hmm.
Which, if you think about that, like that's bad. That's not ideal.
Hmm.
And I don't want to say it's bad because she's ugly or she's fat. It's just it's unhealthy to live like that.
Sure.
And it's unhealthy, provenly unhealthy, because it increases your all-cause mortality risk by
Yeah,
a substantial amount.
it can impact the quality of your life and all that stuff as well, for sure.
So when you have that information, then you can say, okay, cool. I don't want to start losing fat. I need to start at least establishing really good, solid routine habits.
Hmm.
Like, are you somebody who eats 3 to 4 times a day routinely? No? Okay. That's the first place to look.
Hmm.
And that none of this matters until you understand what that calorie budget is. Now, if you're super, super fat, and I mean like you're morbidly obese to the point where like you're not moving off the couch without pain,
Hmm.
that person can literally do anything. They don't have to count calories.
Yeah.
They don't have to do anything outside of just start to improve their ability to eat whole foods versus processed foods.
Hmm.
And I bet 20, 30, 40 pounds falls off within 4 or 5 months, period. They can start walking a little bit more. The weight comes off. Your body is so big at that point, and
Yeah.
you have so much stored potential, because that's what fat is. Fat is stored potential energy that hasn't
Yep.
been used yet.
Sure.
Right. So it's like if you just move, you will expedite that energy consumption faster. That's it.
Yeah.
So that person has a different plan than the person who's 165 pounds who might be just looking for an aesthetic improvement.
Hmm.
That person needs more precision. So
Yep.
that's what that person will need to track calories for some
Yeah.
period of time, not forever. And
Yep.
at the end of the day, like tracking calories doesn't guarantee you're going to lose fat.
Hmm.
All tracking calories does is it shows you how many calories you're eating.
Yeah.
Then you have to make decisions on what direction to go. It'd be like saying like, just by having a speedometer in my car, I know I'll drive the speed limit. Well, no, your foot's still on the gas pedal, and
Yeah.
you can still fuck this up.
Sure.
Like, you can still eat too much.
Hmm.
Like, just by looking at it and having an awareness of it doesn't mean you've changed anything.
Hmm.
So by understanding how many calories you need, now you can make informed educational decisions. Because here's, and I'm sure you hear this all the time now too, right? Well, it's my age, it's my metabolism, it's perimenopause.
Yeah.
Doesn't prohibit the law of thermodynamics from being real. You
Yeah.
may not like the depth of calories you have to go to lose fat, but you set yourselves up shittily physiologically because you didn't build any muscle in your 20s and 30s. You spent the entire time in the gym fucking running, which is cool.
Yeah.
But hey, here's the fun fact for everybody who's listening. The more you run, the better you get at running, the less calories you burn while running.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry,
Yep. Yeah.
sorry,
You get more efficient.
unfortunate reality of the fucking truth. But hey,
Hmm.
there's also a remedy for that. It's called progressive overload of running and cardio.
Run
But
more.
you didn't spend a lifetime building muscle, which made you metabolically compromised.
Yeah.
And you also spent a life erratically eating. Some days you would eat 1,200, some days you would eat 800, some days you would eat 3,500, and there was no rhyme or reason to any of it.
Hmm.
But your body still operated off of an average that you had no idea about.
Yep.
So now that you're 45, it's got nothing to do with your metabolism or the
Nope.
fact that your hormones are fucked because everybody's hormones are fucked.
Hmm.
My hormones were fucked at 31. I went on TRT. It took me
Yeah.
2 years to get somebody to prescribe testosterone replacement to me, despite begging 9 different doctors to do it.
Sure.
But it didn't prohibit me from sleeping well. It didn't prohibit me from eating well. It didn't prohibit me from going to the gym, doing cardio, taking steps, lowering my stress.
Yeah.
All of that still had to be intact. I could shower in testosterone
Yeah.
and nothing would change if my baseline habits are shitty.
Yeah.
So these are the basics that people just need to wrap their fucking head around once and for all. And once they have that, they're empowered to make decisions versus saying, well, I'm fucked due to XYZ reason, which is the most disempowering way to live. If you ask me, like, why would you want to live with that veil on your fucking face?
Yeah. All right. Well said. And it makes me think of really, the people who let's say air quotes, want to make change, but they just don't want to track the data. That's really, I think some people get so emotionally attached to it, where I think we come from a standpoint, it's like, we just need to figure out one, where you're at. Like, how many steps are you getting today? I don't care if it's at 10,000, 2,000, 1,000, but how many? Like, we can't go into this blind. How many calories are you eating a day? Yeah, I know you ate 800 calories on Monday, but like, we don't know what you ate on Saturday because you didn't track it. And it was probably 5,000 calories because that's not actually that hard to do. So we actually need to commit to this tracking the data so we can actually make a real good adjustment to your game plan that actually works. Because like you said, you were talking about people who are maybe morbidly obese, just get moving a little bit, eat some fruits and vegetables, eat more home cooked meals, eat out less, and that will probably move the needle. Obviously, as you have less weight to lose, the harder it gets in a sense. not to scare people, but it's like toothpaste, right? As you get closer to using up all that toothpaste, you're fucking like really working to get that last bit out. And I'm at the point I'm cutting it in half. I'm spooning that thing, putting my toothbrush in there and spooning and scooping everything out. But that's just what it is. But like we also just need that data. Like the more we go into it and go into it, like yeah, it will get more precise. Again, not that we're fucking saying don't eat the donut or anything like that, but there just might be some trade-offs we have to make. And that even comes to the point for some individuals is that last 10 to 15 pounds. Is it worth it? You know, is your health at risk? If it's not, cool. Well, is it worth it? Like, are you doing this for whatever reason? Like, cool. If you want, you know, abs for the summer, go for it. That's your goal. I'm all here for it. But just understand, like, there's going to be trade-offs because of that. And if you're willing to take those trade-offs, cool. It's cool with me if it's cool with you. Just understand that. We at least got to be educated on that.
It's informed consent. Like
Yeah.
every client that I have, I have a
I don't
client
ask
right
for
now
consent.
ever. Just
I don't need to anymore.
bury it. Um, so I have a client who's 93 pounds. So she's the size of a dumbbell,
Wow.
right? Like and I tell her that all the time, and she's really cool about it.
Yeah.
93 pounds. And she eats about 1,550 calories right now, like we have her
Hmm.
at, which is great. Like that's like
Yeah.
15 calories per pound. That's a very, very healthy metabolism.
Hmm.
By the way, I have like ranges that I figured out in my career. 11 north of 11 calories per pound for a woman is decently flexible for metabolically. You start getting into like the 13, 14, 15 per pound range, like that woman is a beast. She can do
Yeah.
whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
10 or below calories per pound, you got problems.
Yeah.
Like you are going to be on an uphill battle for 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
But that's about how long it'll take to reverse the damage.
Yeah.
For a man, I would say probably like 13 calories plus per pound, maintaining
Okay.
your weight out. Like that's a good place to be. Below that, again, problems. So again, but this is evidence. This is like I've
Yeah.
worked. I think I looked the other day before I had changed my processes in like 2021. I wasn't formalizing my intake form,
Hmm.
but I've collected 538 intake forms as of today. So that means that
Wow.
I've worked with 538 people in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So I have evidence and data on 538 individuals.
Hmm.
So this is where I think like the evidence-based community is all wrong. Like if we as coaches took our Excel spreadsheets and dumped them into a database and said, this is what we have,
Yeah.
we would figure out the obesity epidemic next week.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to aggregate that research. Nobody wants to
Sure.
pay for it. Like Menno Houseman will still keep telling us that cold plunging is bad. And he's a fucking idiot of all idiots, like sitting there just saying the most dust statements. I don't know if you follow any of his content, but it's like carbohydrates help you lift weights, new study shows. By the way, he funds all of his own research and
What
does
was
his
the
own
name of
research.
this of him again?
Menno Henselman,
No, I don't follow him.
very smart guy.
Sure.
Used to have amazingly good content, but recently he's been like publishing his own research.
Sure.
And it's like the most like it's like water is wet. New study finds.
Yeah.
It's literally like look it up. It's so like and Israel will share it every once in a while and kind of laugh at it, but like it's the most ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
Like you don't need scientific evidence. And like the stuff that I learned at 15 from the bros in the gym, Brad Schoenfeld just recently confirmed that it was true. But
Yeah.
it took 20 years to get
Sure.
that evidence. So we're always practically as coaches, fitness professionals,
Hmm.
nutrition professionals working with clients, boots on the ground. We're ahead of the research every single time.
Yeah.
Because nobody, first of all, nobody gives a fuck about nutrition and fitness research.
Yeah.
Like cancer research, all that stuff is
Sure.
always going to trump fat loss research. So the
Hmm.
only fat loss research we really have is the bodybuilding community. And guess who's the best at fat loss? Bodybuilders. Guess who's the best at body comp improvement? Bodybuilders.
Hmm.
So just take some of those principles, which is
Yep.
what? Eat less, move
Calories.
more
Yeah.
for some period of time. It
Protein.
doesn't mean eat less and move more forever because, right, they have a 16-week window in which they compete. And then after that, they have to go back to maintenance to recover all of their degraded hormones and all of their body
Yeah.
fat that they lost because that's an unhealthy way to live perpetually
Sure.
at those low levels of leanness, just like it's bad to live at fat levels.
Yeah.
But it's not like none of this stuff is actually complicated. The problem is people are so void of information and they're also, I mean, here's where I'm going to be very honest. It takes 40 seconds to track food
Yeah.
if you cook it,
Yeah.
right? If you cook your own food and you make it relevant, like, and I'm not saying like the casseroles and the 9 ingredient fucking macro friendly meals.
Yeah.
I'm saying brown beef in a pan, fucking steam your rice, make some vegetables, roast it in the oven. That shit is so easy to track. It literally doesn't even take a half a second.
Yep.
That's all it is. Like if you
Yeah.
can track your food that way. Now, where is it going to be problematic? This stuff.
Yeah.
The restaurant meals, the coffee's out, the booze, like the stuff that's like the cocktails, the
Yeah.
stuff that you're not controlling, that's going to be hard to track. So that variability is going to be very high.
Yeah.
But anything that you prepare yourself, if prepared simply, is not hard to track.
Yeah.
So you'll have, let's call a 95% confidence level of how many calories you're eating.
Hmm.
Once you've figured out that equation, you figured out nutrition. You may not like the number.
Yeah.
Like I have some women that are fucking in the 170s, 180s who are super fat and very under muscled, and they
Hmm.
have to go down to 900 calories to lose fat.
Yeah.
They don't move a lot. They don't have a
Yeah.
lot of muscle mass, which is calorically expensive.
Yeah.
So it sucks. Like it is what it is. Like I can't fight your physiology.
Yeah.
I have no say over this. Like you put yourself into this position.
Sure.
I had a woman today. She's like, I need my calories to go up. I said, okay, what happens when you get fat?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be happy about that. So, okay, well, I can't just arbitrarily raise your calories.
Sure.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. She's like, well, 2 years ago, I was able to eat 2,100. I said, awesome. 2 years ago, you were 15 pounds lighter
Yeah.
and a ton more active with way less stress.
Sure.
You're a different person now. I have to feed the person you are today, not the piece of person you used to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what people don't understand. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't understand. I'm like, you absolutely, and she's a fitness professional. I said, you
Mhm.
absolutely understand.
Yes.
You just don't want to accept it.
Sure.
You
Sure.
put yourself into this position. Nobody else did. I'm sorry. Like I know that that's shitty to accept. But like every single time that I decide, like last night I had 2 cookies.
Yeah.
I looked at the macros on those cookies because they're available online.
Yeah.
570 calories per piece of like per cookie. All right.
Yeah. Rumble cookie?
No, they were it's the company's called Last Crumb. It's from LA, but like it
Okay.
comes in this like fucking suitcase. It's very
Oh.
elaborate. But like like people will do that multiple times per week.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, I have a 3,500 calorie metabolism in which I can maintain weight at. I have a hell of a lot more flexibility than you do, Mrs. Jones.
Yep.
So like if you and I are making the same decisions, and this is another point that I think is important to make.
Hmm.
A lot of women eat with their husbands and their families, right?
Right.
And they eat the same portion sizes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So their 240-pound fucking husband is eating the same amount of food as the 160-pound wife, and they're wondering why they have a problem. Well, he can eat whatever he wants and lose his weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got more muscle mass than you do.
Sure. He's 100 pounds
He's
more than you.
Fucking bigger than you are. It's just, and it's physics at that point. You don't get to eat as much as he does.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a
Mhm.
shitty hand. If you wanted to fix that at 20, you should have started lifting weights instead of fucking
Yeah.
sprinting all the time.
Yeah.
So like none of this stuff, again, like as fitness professionals who have seen this over and over and over
Yeah.
again, and the people that finally buy into the personal responsibility aspect of it, the people that finally say, okay, cool. It was not my fault because I didn't know better, but it is now my responsibility.
Yes.
That
Nailed it.
person will always get results.
Yep.
100 out of 100 times, the person who owns their responsibility to the problem that they've created
Yep.
will always get results. The person who keeps hiding behind age, metabolism, and hormones is going to keep looking for the fix or the
Mhm.
fucking hormone cocktail that some
The
dickhead
detox.
PhD is fucking selling.
Yep.
And they're going to keep looking for, well, who's going to be able to justify my victimization?
Yeah.
Who's going to justify and tell me that it wasn't my fault?
Rub my
doctor
back.
was lying. Like, I'm
Yep.
sorry, nobody's lying to you. You're lying to you.
Yeah.
Like, I got so fucking. I went at it with what's her name, Mary Claire Haver, the fucking 2.2 million follower
Yeah.
OBGYN who talks about how women are just broken, and if you don't buy my book and my hormone cocktail, you're going to stay broken. And she had somebody say like, I went to my doctor and I told him I was eating 1,200 calories, and he told me I was lying. Bedside manner there obviously wasn't good.
Yeah.
You're not lying. You just don't fucking know. Because I
Yeah.
promise you, if you're a 190-pound woman and you're
Yeah.
eating 1,200 calories, you're going to lose fat.
Sure.
Unless you're sitting on the couch and never getting off of it whatsoever, like you have a resting metabolic rate.
Yeah.
That's probably somewhere around 1,200.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're probably moving slightly more than that. So
Sure.
you're going to lose fat if
Yeah.
you were actually eating 1,200 calories, which I promise you you're not.
Hmm.
I can eat 1,200 calories before fucking my second meal of the day. This alone,
Give me a Ben and Jerry's.
but 1 pint of Ben and Jerry's is 1,200 to 1,500 calories.
Yep.
And let's not, because the Ben and Jerry's is too obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the avocado toast.
Sure. Yeah.
It's the pastry bite. It's the lick and taste off your kids' plates.
Yeah.
It's the random pieces of food that you don't even remember because you're on autopilot all day long.
Hmm.
It's the fact that you haven't eaten for 6 hours, which makes you devour everything in your path at night. It's the
Hmm.
fact that you snack and don't eat full meals that are
Yeah.
satiating, that have fiber and protein in it.
Hmm.
That's the only problem. We don't have an obesity epidemic because people don't understand that a cheeseburger is not as good for you as a salad.
Yeah.
We have an obesity epidemic because people don't understand where their calories are actually coming from and they don't prepare their own food.
Yeah.
That's it.
For sure. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better. It's, I always make the joke to even like my clients. I'm like, listen, when you sign on and we're talking, it's one of those things, listen, you know what you need to do. You have a sense, like as far as you might not be self-aware of yourself, but we need to eat fruits and vegetables, we need to eat protein, we need to manage our stress, we need to get our steps in, we need to do some training. Like I wouldn't have a
By the way,
job.
that sounds like a lot, right? Like when you just list all that stuff off, if somebody back here is listening, they're like,
Yeah.
Kevin, I can't do all that.
Yeah.
But then you're like, no, 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 Mrs. Jones, wait, I didn't actually say that much stuff. You're already doing a lot of this stuff.
Yes, exactly.
You just have to now quantify it and get a little bit more clear on how much of it you're actually doing.
Sure.
That's it.
Exactly. And I'll tell them like, listen, like I wouldn't have a job right now if you just knew how to take action on this. Like
Right.
if you just knew like you know what to do, you just don't know how to do it. And you don't even know what the hell's going on in the first place. So I always like agreed with you said this a little earlier. It's the fundamentals. Like if you look at, I always like to use athletes, but if you look at the best athletes in the world, they're really just the best at the fundamentals. Like when I remember playing baseball in college, like anytime I was in a slump, we would just go back to fundamentals, just hit off a tee. Like just one, get your confidence up, feel your swing, like make good contact. You just get back to the fundamentals of everything. It's the same thing here. And I think 80 to 90% of people, if not more, if they just like create a foundation with these 5 habits, these 5 areas, let's call them 6 areas, they're going to be in amazing health. And not only that is like they're going to be able to work through any phase of life, right? They're going to be able to, hey, life gets crazy. It happens to us. Like we got to dial it back a little bit. Like all's good, but we're not doing nothing. We're just, you're training 4 times a week for an hour. We're going to do like, hey, let's do 3 to 4 for 30 to 45 minutes. Like just as effective, just as good.
20, fucking
Yeah.
15. Something is better than nothing.
Right. Like I don't know how often you train. I know you train a lot, but like I'm training 4 to 5 times a week. I don't have to, but I just like to. That's why I do it. That's a big part of it. But we can really like again, I think 3 to 4 times a week is plenty. We get a big emphasis on steps as well, obviously nutrition. But we just, long story short, like we need to come back around to just what you were saying is like the awareness. Like, do you even know what you're doing? Do you know anything about yourself? We need to educate you on fucking you. Like that's what we need to do. And then we can start to discover, because even like you were saying, Mrs. Smith is like, that's so much. Well, no, Mrs. Smith, you go on your mum walk every night. Like, you're already getting 8,000 steps a day. You're doing great there. So that's something, yeah, we're going to pay attention to, but like, we're pretty good there. Hey, you also like your big ass salad every day. Like, that's awesome. We just need to add more protein to it. Oh, you're actually snacking way too much at night or throughout the day or whatever it may be. So we just create some awareness in these areas that's like, hey, you're actually doing pretty good in these areas. Yeah, you're lacking in this area a little bit. And then we need to fix this here, and then we'll be good. So I think people just get overwhelmed. And I do like, getting sidetracked here. I do understand people who just kind of like throw in the towel or just are kind of always having these moments of like, fuck it, because of this fucking industry and all the influencers out there, there's a shit ton of information. Like
There
there's
is.
just, and obviously a lot of it is emphasized on the stuff where like, hey, like, no, like, yeah, well, red dyes are banned, but like, is that the biggest issue in the world? Like, no, we probably have some other areas we could work on that would probably move the needle just as much.
But there's
Because
a lot of information in every industry, dude. Like
for
you open
sure.
open up your phone and if you like I don't follow economic news.
Yeah.
I don't follow financial advisors.
Yeah.
I don't follow people in real estate. But if I
Mhm.
did, I'm sure I'd get 900 different opinions on when is a good time to buy a house and when is a
Yeah.
bad time to buy a house and why
Sure.
should I buy now versus later.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a plethora of information. What applies to you?
Hmm.
Are you like I'm not in a position to buy a house right now. So guess what I'm not paying attention to?
House.
information about buying a house.
Yeah.
Like now everybody has to eat,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, if you actually have any ounce of logic or reason inside of your head, would it make sense if food was as toxic as some people claim it to be? Wouldn't people just be dropping dead in the street at this point?
Yeah.
Like you would have people just lining and bodies would be lining up and down every street in the world because everybody's eating processed foods.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's got like I know like 7 people who live in Montana and have a farm and eat nothing but their own food.
Sure.
That's it. Like that's about it. But even that person has to go to a processing center
Yeah.
to get the fucking deer meat pulled out of the deer because unless they know how to do it themselves, somebody else has to do it. That's considered processing. So
Hmm.
anytime you put something in your mouth, a human being has already touched it.
Yep.
So it's been processed by
Yep.
some person. Was there chemicals added into it? We don't know. But here's the thing. I don't give a shit if you shower yourself in organic fucking vegetables. Do you have any idea it was in that soil 50 years ago?
Sure.
Because all of the fertilizers and all that stuff, like the BHT and all that stuff, will live in soil for hundreds of years.
Hmm.
So you can have a fully organic farm that's not being sprayed with regular pesticide, organic pesticide.
Yeah.
But the
Still
soil,
pesticide.
they didn't test that. They don't know a
Yep.
hundred feet down what's down there.
Hmm.
So like at the end of the day, like I don't worry about any of this shit because it's the same person that's telling me about seed oils that's also drinking 3 times a week,
Dude. Yeah.
right? Like I do cocaine and Molly. Who am I to tell somebody not to eat chips?
Yeah.
Or like
Sure.
I've done Tren. Who am I
Hmm.
to tell somebody not to take Ozempic?
Yeah.
Like all these
Sure.
people that sit on these pedestals, it's like
Hmm.
look at yourself in the mirror. Like look at how you behave.
Yep.
How are you giving advice to anybody? And I posted about calories and the thing went viral. I had like 1.5 million views. And I had several people go and just say, wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And then I click on their profile and it's obviously a nobody with fucking 40 followers
Yeah.
and has no education in nutrition.
Sure.
Do I go to your job and tell you that you're wrong? Like, no,
Right.
if a guy at the tire shop tells me that my tire is XYZ or my axle is fucked up, I'm gonna believe him
100%.
because I don't have the time or the patience to research what an axle is supposed to function like.
Sure.
I pay professionals for that because I don't fucking want to learn.
No.
But I also don't need to learn the extremities of my car. I should know a little bit about the way the human body functions.
Yeah.
I should know what my tricep does and what my
Yeah.
quad is responsible for. I should know that when I eat this, I feel like this. And when I eat
Yeah.
this, I feel like that.
Hmm.
And when you start operating from a place of, I just want to feel good every day.
Hmm.
And when I make these choices, I feel really good. But when I make these choices, I don't. Well, it's very easy to say, I don't want to make these choices as often.
Hmm.
Like when I eat cookies all the time, I feel it. My body
Hmm.
comp changes. I become more waterlogged. My
Hmm.
cognitive function isn't as clear. My training isn't as crisp. I don't feel like getting out of bed as fast.
Sure.
So then maybe I just shouldn't eat cookies every fucking day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be more. Now, we live in an environment where it's just very easy to make poor choices. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
No,
If
for
this,
sure.
if this was 100 years ago, none of us would be talking about any of this stuff.
Right. Right.
Like, I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you follow a guy named Michael Easter, but he wrote a book called the Convenience Epidemic or something similar to that.
Okay.
He's a great follow. He's an author, pretty smart guy, but he basically said like snacking wasn't a thing until like the 70s.
Sure.
Like people didn't snack. They ate meals.
Interesting.
They literally sat down with their family 3 times a day or twice a day if it was breakfast. Like even me, dude, I'm 41. I remember going to my buddy's house next door and we would all eat breakfast together.
Hmm.
His dad would whip up a big ass breakfast. Like, and it wasn't necessarily healthy, but it was still like
Something.
the sit down meal.
Yeah.
And we all ate together. And
Yeah.
then at dinner, my family ate together, or my buddy would come over to my house and we would all eat together.
Yeah.
Now it's like somebody's eating in front of the TV, somebody's eating off the knee in their car, somebody's fucking eating on the go, somebody's not eating at all.
Yeah.
There's no fucking consistency to consumption whatsoever. And now people are just grazing all day long. And when you graze, you have no idea how much you're eating.
No idea.
None, 0%, like period. You have like, I can eat 300 calories worth of fucking wheat thins from the time I walk from the pantry to the couch
Yep.
to decide to keep eating wheat thins.
Yep.
Like, don't tell me you know how many calories you ate, Susan, because you fucking don't.
Yeah.
Because did you take that wheat thin box, pour it into a bowl, and understand what the serving size actually was? Because 28 grams, which is 1 ounce, which is the serving size of most snacks, is
Mhm.
about this much.
Yeah.
It's about 12 to 13 pieces of something,
Yeah.
which you eat before you even think about eating the
Yeah.
rest of them.
Yeah.
So none of this is complicated. It's just we don't want to open our eyes wide enough to see it.
Hmm.
Because then it's like, whoa, this is on me now.
Yeah.
It's not my mentality. Did you see that video about the woman in England who Sai posted about it too, I think. It was like
Probably, but you can remind me.
she was wearing like a black dress. It was from the UK, and
Oh, yes,
she got all the
yes.
metabolic testing, and she's like,
She,
"Well, your BMR is actually what it's predicted to be,
it's
so
like
your metabolism."
1600 or something. Yeah.
Right now, I have a client right now, whole family,
Yeah.
son, father, and wife. Wife's probably the best out of all of them. Father's all over the place. Son
Yeah.
just getting started.
Yeah.
380, 6'6". So he's a big boy.
The
Big boy.
sun?
Yeah. Big
Wow.
boy.
Big boy.
21 years old. I'm like, bro, like you have the potential to be a stud of all studs.
Yes, dude.
Like
Like,
if I was 6'6", 390, like I was giving him a story. So my buddy is Matt Colombo, who's Mark Colombo's brother, the former
okay.
offensive tackle for the
Yep.
Cowboys, who now works for the Giants.
Yep.
When Mark Colombo played, he was 380 at
Hmm.
6'6". Now he's 240.
Yeah.
So like
Stud.
you can lean out as much as you'd like.
Yep.
And I told him, I'm like, all you have to do, all you have to do is eat 3 times a day, make most of it lean protein, vegetables, and fruit, and just move as much
Yeah.
as humanly possible. Like, because
Right.
he's a video gamer. He's one of
Yeah.
those. So he
Yeah.
doesn't move a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, just move your ass, dude. Like, you have a lot of body. That body's going to require energy. Where's it going to
Yeah.
come from if you're not eating a ton? It's going to come from your fat cells.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And I told him, if you do this, because he's been slacking now for like 3 months, and I'm like, if you don't get your shit together, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Like, I don't need to take your money anymore. At this point, like, I
Sure.
feel like I'm robbing you at this point.
Right.
You don't check in, you don't send me training videos, you
Hmm.
don't do anything, you don't participate. The $195 a month that I'm charging you just isn't worth it for me.
Sure.
And like, it wasn't a threat. It was just, I don't need to work with somebody who doesn't want to respect my process. That's it.
Sure. Yeah.
He's like, dude, I'm like, don't apologize to me. This is your health.
Yeah.
Like, you're almost 400 pounds as a 21-year-old man. Do
Hmm.
you understand that not only is there a psychological trauma that's going to happen because he just started talking to a girl like 3 months ago who's basically ghosted him.
Wow.
I'm like, it's because you have absolutely zero self-esteem.
Yeah.
And I wonder why. Because you
Yeah.
don't take care of yourself. Not
Yeah.
because you're fat. I know plenty of fat people who have no problem getting women.
Yeah.
I got a buddy who's 360 pounds. The guy can get laid in any room that he walks into.
Sure. Sure.
Why? Because he's charismatic. He believes in himself. He's got a
Yeah.
fat wallet, which helps also.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I told this kid, I'm like, dude, you don't have any other problems other than the fact that you have nothing going on in your life. You have no
Mm.
purpose, no direction, and none
Yeah.
of this matters to you. At what point is it going to matter? Is it going to be the first heart attack, the second, the third? Is it
Yeah.
going to be the quadruple bypass that you and your dad are going to get together side by side in the same room?
Yeah.
Because this is not about fat loss. Like, the fat
Right.
loss is the easy part.
Yeah.
It's the reason behind why you do the shit you're supposed to be doing. That's supposed to be fueling your quality of life.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, it's always a funny like homework exercise I'll give a lot of clients is, especially starting off, I'll like typically in the new year, I'll be like, what do you want, the end of 2026 to look like? Not what do you want? Give me the details of your day. What are you specifically waking up and doing? Who are you with? Are you getting laid that day? Like, are you working out? What's your job? All these things. Like, give me the whole thing. And it's like, cool. We have like this purpose now. We have this vision. We're just trying to match this today. The byproduct will be, yeah, you'll be in a healthy body and fit and all that stuff. But we need to focus on how you're showing up in a year from now, but start acting like that today. So just changing that identity, because I think so much, I wrote a newsletter on this in the past, actually this week, excuse me, talking about, the whole analogy was like you're driving a car, you look in the rear view mirror and you see someone following you. And you look again, they're still following you. Now you're getting freaked out. So now you're just staring at the rear view mirror as you're driving. And the next thing you know, you crash and you fucking ruin your car.
It's a
Well, that
good
person in the
analogy,
rear view,
Kevin.
the person in the rear view mirror was you. And you're so fucking focused on the person in the rear view mirror that you crashed your car and you ruined everything. Like, I'm not saying don't look back and be like, all right, there's lessons to be learned and whatnot and appreciate where you're at now. But like, stop worrying about what's back there and like tell the story you're telling yourself in the past. Let's rewrite that story because, like you said earlier, yes, it's not your fault necessarily, but also like understanding on how it's not. But at least it's your responsibility to do something about it now. Like now we get to do something. Like if you're sick and tired of being the cheesy line, sick and tired of being sick and tired, well, let's fucking change. And in order to get different results, we need a different approach that's honestly not that sexy, but it's the most effective plan out there. Like no matter where you're at in life, which I kept thinking of these two clients I had when you talked about creating awareness and being honest with yourself and tracking your calories. So they both were tracking and both were struggling. So I said to them, I'm like, hey, let's just double check your logs. Like, I want you sending pictures of your food to me and I'll double check it just because like this isn't lining up. Like you're having 1600 calories with where your weight's at. I think it was like 180, one was at 200. Like this just isn't lining up. So obviously something's missing. One didn't take pictures, one did take pictures. One lost 10 pounds in 2 months, one stayed the same. So it's just like, okay, cool. And really, like when they were sending their pictures, I was looking at them like, no, this actually looks decently accurate. But they're like, oh no, I'm snacking way less now. Like I'm paying attention to my shit more. I'm like, okay, cool.
So they weren't actually tracking
Yeah, there was like
everything
maybe a
in. Yeah.
dishonesty there, or like the licks, bites, and nibbles, all that stuff. But it's just it's like when you can just really like there's no need to be shameful or guilty with being honest. It's just be honest, take ownership, and then let's do something about it. Like if you're lying to yourself, that's what's fucked up.
I want to talk about the concept of shame because this keeps coming up in the
Sure. Yeah,
conversation,
yeah.
right? Like this idea of like body shaming or fat shaming or fit
Hmm.
shaming. I grew up in a time where if you were ashamed of something, you should be.
Yeah.
Dude, you know me very well.
Yeah, of course.
I've done a lot of shameful, bad shit in my life, and I
Hmm.
was rightfully ashamed of it. Why?
Hmm.
Because I didn't like, because in the moment while I did the thing, cheated on people, snorted coke off a toilet seat at 5 in the morning,
Hmm.
stole from people. Those are
Yeah.
shameful things to do. In the moment, they seem great ideas because you're
Yeah.
not in the right headspace. And it seems like you're doing the thing you want to do, which in the moment it is. But then when you actually process it, think about it, and go back to your normal life, you're ashamed of it.
Hmm.
So here's the thing about shame. If you are ashamed of your behavior, that is the first sign that that behavior needs to change.
Hmm.
It's simple as that. It doesn't have to,
Yeah.
like, you don't have to walk around in this shameful state because I'm sure you're not consistently doing shameful shit. But if
Yeah.
you're ashamed of your behavior, like I had a woman like who like owned up to me about the calories she was eating at night. She's like, I can't believe I didn't report it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you lose a pound or not. Your fucking credit card is still going to clear every month as long as you stay.
Yeah.
So this is on you. If you want to report useful information to me, great. I'll take it. I'll run with it. I'll make good choices for you.
Hmm.
If you want to lie to you and me, great. You're going to be the one who's fat. I'm going to be the one who gets paid.
Yeah.
Is that cool? Yeah. Okay. So if you're ashamed of your behavior, change it.
Yeah.
Shame is a great signal.
Sure.
It's a wonderful motivator.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is that we have all these people that are like, well, you're shaming somebody. It's like, no, I'm just revealing the truth.
Yeah.
You just don't want to hear it. If you don't want,
Yeah.
nobody wants to hear bad things about themselves. There's plenty of places where I've had to get checked constantly. I
Hmm.
got checked in my careers. I got checked in my relationships. I got checked in friendships. Like there's been
Hmm.
times where people called me out and my initial immature reaction to those things before I became an adult was
Hmm.
to get upset at the person.
Of course.
Your fault. Why the fuck would you
Yeah.
say that to me?
Yeah.
Now, at 41, keep it coming.
Yeah.
Show me all the places where I can do better.
Yeah.
That's growth mindset versus fixed mindset.
Yeah.
If you want to stay stuck like 90% of the world is, because here's the truth for anybody who's
Hmm.
listening, 90% of you won't fucking make it.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. 90% of you are going to be consumers that sit on your couch and wait to die.
Yep.
10% of us are going to fucking run laps around you, create businesses, create long lasting relationships, have fulfillment and purpose, and we're going to leave you behind.
Yep.
Because if you look at how many successful people there are in the world, there's not many. There's even less fit people than there are successful people, however you
Sure.
measure success. And it's
Yep.
only going to get worse because it's getting easier to not do anything.
Yeah.
There's more Netflix coming out.
Yep.
There's more media services coming out. There's more scrolling time. There's more shit food coming onto your table. And it's easier to get faster, and most of it's going to be cheaper.
Yep.
So it's only going to get harder for you to be a purposeful, fulfilled individual with some level of self care.
Yep.
So you could either make a choice now. It's either I'm going to become a victim of my circumstance and say, fuck it. This is the hand I was dealt. This is the environment. It's all so hard. I don't have any time. It's my
Hmm.
metabolism. I'm a single mother. My husband is an asshole. I'm in a
Hmm.
bad relationship. All your choices. All your choices. Every one of those things that somebody said, nobody told you to have 4 kids
Yeah.
that you couldn't afford, that you couldn't take care of. Nobody
Hmm.
told you that.
Wrap it up.
No, nobody told you. At any point, anal was always an option.
Yeah.
Pulling out was an option.
Sure.
Abortion was an option. I don't give a fuck what belief system you have. But if you consciously in your head, no, I don't have the fucking money or time to take care of 4 children, why did you have them?
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point, you have to take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
And I have a woman coming on my podcast who has 10 kids,
Yep.
2 businesses. She's a
Mhm.
bikini competitor. She's a Spartan race champion. Like she's one of like the top tier.
Wow.
And
Badass.
her husband shot himself in the fucking head in front of her and her youngest kids and left her by
Damn.
herself. So
Holy shit.
if that person with the worst possible circumstances in this world can make it happen, why can't you, who has a
Sure.
husband who works from home, who has 2 kids that were grown and out of the house already, who you're not even responsible for?
Yeah.
Here's the difference. The woman with the 10 kids has no other option. Her
Yeah.
back is against the wall, and it's
Yeah.
important to her to feel her best.
Yeah.
Because if she doesn't show up for herself, she can't show up for the other 10 people she has.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't give a fuck enough
Yeah.
because you've been stuck in easy street for too long. And I'm going to tell you very, very honestly, life is not meant to be easy.
Nope.
33% of the time, it's going to be boring, average, and mundane as fuck. 33% of the time, it's going to be amazing and blissful. And 33% of it's going to feel like you're getting kicked in the dick constantly.
Yeah.
And that's just life. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
fucking immigrant from Russia who came to America. So when I see all these people complain to me about how hard it is here, go spend 5 minutes anywhere else.
Yeah.
All these people right now in LA who are all upset about whatever's going on, you're Mexican, right? It's right down there.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
aren't you there?
Yeah.
Oh, because it sucks ass to live there.
Sure.
Could you imagine living in a place where you're allowed to do and say whatever you want, eat whatever
Mm.
you want, get a job at any moment?
Mm-hmm.
We have it so, so good here.
Yeah.
I would never want to, for a million years, I would never trade living in America for living anywhere else. Maybe New Zealand, because
New
that's where
Zealand
you
would
go.
be sick.
That's where you go to be left alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like New Zealand, there's like literally you can go miles without seeing anybody.
That's
Just
sick.
animals,
Have you
nature.
been?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
Like when I'm done with people, which is going to be very soon,
Yeah.
I'm going to just be there, maybe a laptop, and that'll be
Hmm.
the rest of it for me, and I'll be done. Because North Island is a beautiful, warm climate.
Yeah.
South Island is seasons, but also a lot of adventure. So
Yeah.
like skydiving, bungee jumping, racing,
Sure.
all this shit. So you can like really get lost in all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I think the problem is that like until you actually get pushed up against the wall, you don't really see what you're made of.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just don't want to volunteer for discomfort.
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of stuff that's annoying, but let's be honest, like meal prep takes 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I posted a thing the other day. Like I made 4 pounds of chicken, 4 pounds of potatoes in 30 minutes
Yeah.
while I was working on my computer
Sure.
because all I had to do was walk back and forth from the stove to my computer.
Yep.
Like I didn't think it wasn't like this massive overhaul of my life that took 30 minutes. But that was cleanup time as well, by the way.
Yeah.
So now instead of having to bitch about not having food, I have a refrigerator full of it. And every time I open it, I look and I see, okay, beef is running a little low. I should buy more of that. Chicken's
Yeah.
running a little bit low. I should buy more of that. Vegetables are getting a little low. And by the way, Instacart. In most places in the United States, you can get groceries dropped off at your front door
Yeah.
for an extra $10. So if
Hmm.
you're bitching to me about time, but you have money,
Hmm.
guess what? You're either gonna have to spend time or money. Which one is it gonna be?
Yeah.
So spend the money.
Yeah.
Have fucking Pablo drop it off at your front door. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You may not get the best freshest vegetables because he doesn't give a
Sure.
shit when he picks them out, but it's either that or you have to go to the store and you don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
But now you don't have an excuse either.
Yeah.
And to me, excuses aren't actually a bad thing. I think excuses are just reasons why something didn't get done, but it's also the revealing of the capabilities of getting it done.
Hmm.
Like I know I should have and could have done it. I just literally chose not to.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You don't
Yeah.
think about it being a choice in the moment.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there actively saying, I'm not going to meal prep today. You just didn't make time for it.
Sure.
You did not make time for it, which means you made the choice to do something else.
Yep.
That's all. So if you made the choice to do something else and you know you could have done it, you could also make the choice to do it. Because if you made the choices that made you fat, you could also make the choices to make you not fat anymore.
Right.
That's it. And if we can mic drop on that all day long, and there's nothing else that needs to be talked about nutrition or fitness ever again, human agency will win over hormones and the economy and metabolism and your economic struggles and your father not hugging you enough.
Yeah.
Human agency. Everybody has a choice. A family full of drug addicts can produce a Harvard grad.
Yep.
A family full of fat people could produce a fucking star athlete.
Yep.
It's a choice. One person made one choice, one person made another. Everybody has a yield in the road. One person made the right choice, one person made the not right choice. That's
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
How much?
Exactly.
And we have evidence of that every fucking corner we're at.
Yep. I think the biggest point, like you said, 10 times there, is it's a fucking choice. Whether it's a hard choice or an easy choice,
Sure.
it's still a fucking choice. Like you still get to choose whether you do it or you don't. And that is up to you.
What's hard, dude, is living in a perpetual state of misery, discomfort, and self-hate.
Hmm.
Like there's times where like when I look at myself, am I the happiest that I look the way that I do?
Sure.
Not always. But I also know it's because right now in this season of life I'm in, I don't really give that much of a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I don't like if I eat 500 calories over my budget, whatever.
Whatever.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. If I don't
Yeah.
train that hard or that often, okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a strong enough why, like if I was one of these people that was coming to me
Right.
desperate, miserable, my life sucks, this is awful, I need 30 pounds off. Show
Right.
me. Show me. Show me
Yeah.
that you care enough to get 30 pounds off.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Let's put it this way. It's not that complicated. Well, it's very much not complicated. But if you truly are unhappy, the way that you really like tell everybody in your life about how unhappy you are, then do something about it.
Hmm.
And now you have help.
Yep.
Now you literally have no reason why you can't get all the best information to do the things you need to do. But we don't have an information problem. We never have.
No.
Well, we did. Now we don't. Like literally, you can go on Chat GPT right now, and it'll give you a
Sure.
plan. It'll give you the same plan that you and I will give them.
Sure.
It just won't give you the accountability to stick to it.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying Kevin and I for.
Hmm.
You're paying Kevin and I to remind you to take your steps, to remind you to put food in your mouth that has value, to go to the gym, and to be kinder to yourself when you don't. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what you're
Share
paying
your
us for.
feelings.
That's
Yeah.
all that you're not paying us to pave the way. You know the fucking way.
Yeah.
You just chose not to drive down that road.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not paying me for a program. I'm not that I'm saying I'm a bad programmer, but like I'm very basic. Like I'm very
Same.
general. Like you're paying me to how you can fucking do the workout and actually follow through with it 3, 4 times a week.
And get some
week over week.
feedback on it.
Yeah, exactly. Get
That's
some
it.
videos, get some training, like, hey, yeah, fix this shit. But dude, well said. I want to close it out there. I want to actually talk for another hour, but I also want to respect your time because I just love your rants and everything. But dude, I appreciate
Too many
you.
of them.
Yeah, I appreciate you hopping on here. How can people find you? Most people, I'm sure, know
Uh,
who you are, but
if you're brave enough to be told the truth, you can go to 4 weeks to the beach on Instagram. The number is 4 and the number is 2 weeks to the beach. If you're a coach that's listening and you want to learn from some of the best in the industry, take your ass to the Real Coaches Summit,
yeah,
realcoachessummit.com. Kevin's been there 2 years in a row now
yep, 2 years, best
and gotten
conference
better
I've ever been to.
and gotten better. Well, that doesn't say much because you don't go to many, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
that's that's like testosterone will increase by 400% from zero.
No, but like I'll say, the handful of conferences I've been to, I've made the most connections at yours,
Good. Good.
most networking, like
That
and
warms
built
me.
up relationships with individuals. Um, so and like plus the food's always really good.
And next year it's gonna be even better.
And the party we went to was even better. You get to
It's
see Aram fucking rip it up on the dance floor and on the
every
karaoke.
everything will get better next year. It's gonna be I'm in talks already with Paris for next
Sweet.
year about making it even better. Coffee all day, water all day.
Need that.
We need
Need
that.
that.
That
I'm
was a big
overly
thing.
caffeinated every time I'm there.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's Vegas. And plus it'll all be in the same
Um,
tower, so we don't have to walk around as much,
sure.
which will be nice. But no, I appreciate it, dude. I honestly, and I know that you've heard this from me before. There's not a lot of people in this business that I appreciate and like.
Yeah.
And I think people are stupid not to follow you and not to listen to you because you have it figured out. You communicate it in a way that's practical and reasonable. And anybody that's got the privilege of working with you should be diving all in and listening to every fucking word you say.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. I love you so much. I appreciate you. Definitely have to get together soon. I feel like we say this all the time, like whether it's grab dinner or workout or something, but we'll definitely have to make it happen. But
I have
dude,
no social life, so it's
yeah, yeah, it's all right. Me neither.
okay.
Um, I just create, shirtless videos with Ryan now these days.
That's
So just,
fine. I create at home eating videos with Brian.
Ryan's just a producer now.
Yeah.
He's a beast. But well, dude, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much for hopping on. For everyone listening, remember, go eat the damn donut. Go enjoy life once in a while. But reach out if you need anything, and we will talk soon. Cheers.